Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to MMS classes. Today we are going to start IGCSE GCE Pakistan Studies. The code for IGCSE is 0448 and the code for GCE is 2059. We will be doing paper 1, History and Culture of Pakistan. Right. So basically in this series, Pakistan Studies series, I will just be talking about the tips for answering questions, right? Whether you are preparing from book or any notes, I will just be telling you the tips of how to answer a question, right? The examiner reports and all that. So today we are starting with section 1, cultural and historical background to the Pakistan movement. Our first topic is religious thinkers. Remember there are 3 religious thinkers. First one is SHAH WALIULLAH, second one is Sayyid Ahmed Shahid Barelvi, and the third one is Haji Shariatullah. Today we will be talking about SHAH WALIULLAH. Remember there are 3 things to be revised in SHAH WALIULLAH topic. First one are beliefs of SHAH WALIULLAH. The second one are the works or the contribution of SHAH WALIULLAH, and the third one is the influence or the importance of SHAH WALIULLAH. Right? So let's begin with the questions. Right. First we are beginning with 4 marks questions, part A questions. Right. In part A questions we are given source. This is the source. This is the source which is talking about Aurangzeb's rule, right? By the end of Aurangzeb's reign, the authority of the Mughal emperors was declining. Hindus were not happy with his reign, and after his death, Muslim power and influence over India, which had been so strong, began to disintegrate. At this time, SHAH WALIULLAH was growing up. Now the question is, describe the achievements of SHAH WALIULLAH in reviving Islam. This is worth 4 marks, part A question, right? Now, it came in June 2011, paper 1, question number 1, part A. Let's read the examiner comments. In part A, the short answer question was well answered, with most candidates gaining 3 or 4 marks on the achievements of SHAH WALIULLAH. What are the achievements of SHAH WALIULLAH in reviving Islam? Basically, his works, right? His contribution to the revival of Islam. We have to write this in this 4 mark question. Marking scheme, candidates might refer to: promoted his message through writings, translated the Holy Quran into Persian, which would enable more people read it, emphasized traditional values of their faith, stressed the importance of following teachings of Quran, future developments built upon his teachings. These are all works of SHAH WALIULLAH, and hence we are also required to describe the achievements of SHAH WALIULLAH in reviving Islam. Right? We just had one 4 mark question, right, in the last 18 years, past papers of last 18 years for the topic SHAH WALIULLAH, right? Now our 7 mark questions. First question, which came in June 2003, paper 1, question 1, part B. Why did SHAH WALIULLAH wish to revive Islam in the subcontinent? It is worth 7 marks. Majority of 7 mark questions start with why. And why? What does why mean? Why mean to why means to give reasons, right? Now, why did SHAH WALIULLAH, why did he wish? So what do we have to write in the answer? Basically, we have to write the beliefs of SHAH WALIULLAH. The beliefs of SHAH WALIULLAH, right? Read the question again. Why did SHAH WALIULLAH wish to revive Islam in the subcontinent? So we have to write in the question, he believed this was missing. So that was the reason why he wish to revive Islam? So this question deals with the beliefs of Shah Waliullah. Examiner comments part B caused a few problems. The question focused on the reasons why Shah Waliullah wished to revive Islam. Many answers were to the point and relevant, but there was a lot of unnecessary background information about him, which is irrelevant, or descriptions on what he did to revive Islam. What does this line means? Descriptions on what he did. These are the works or contributions, which is also invalid in this answer. What we have to write are the beliefs of Shah Waliullah, right? Next 7-mark question, November 2005, paper 1, 1B, right? This is very important question. Why did Shah Waliullah have such an important influence on the revival of Islam in the subcontinent? Examiner comments, part B caused few problems. The question focused on why Shah Waliullah had such an important influence on the revival of Islam in the subcontinent. Many answers were to the point and relevant, dealing with such issues as the translation of the Holy Quran, Quranic teachings, and the need for strong leadership. However, for others, a description of his career was the wrong way to deal with this question and attracted few marks. What we do not have to write in this question is the description of his career. Now, what do we have to write then? Basically, we have to write the beliefs, the works, and the importance. Every single thing, right, in this question, in this answer, right? There are 3 things: beliefs, works, and importance. We have to write every single thing, right? Why? Look at the marking scheme now. Muslims had deteriorated into being a helpless and disorganized group of people, and if they were to regain their power, then strong leadership was required. He believed. Now this shows us this line. He believed, this word, that the examiner wants us to write about the beliefs of Shah Waliullah, right? That they were ignorant about Islam and the teachings of the Holy Quran, right? And in the later part, there is another line. So he felt that by translating the Holy Quran into Persian would enable more people to read it. What is this? Work. Remember. So he felt that by translating the Holy Quran into Persian, this is the work up till here, and the importance of this work is this, would enable more people to read it. So there are all 3 things: beliefs, he believed, right? His contribution, his work, and his importance. Remember, importance and influence is always created from work or contribution, right? Again, read the question. Why did Shah Waliullah have such an important influence on the revival of Islam in the subcontinent? We have to write briefly about the belief. What did he believe? A sentence or so, and then his work, right? Added with the importance it created, right? This is how we will deal with this question. The next question is a similar question. Why did Shah Waliullah have such a major influence on the revival of Islam in the subcontinent? June 2010, paper 1, part 1B. Same marking scheme. We'll just read the examiner comments. Part B caused few problems as most candidates were able to explain why Shah Waliullah had a major influence on the revival of Islam in the subcontinent. As a result, many candidates scored a level 3 mark. Remember, there are 4 levels, right? Often reaching the maximum allowable. However, the emphasis was on his influence on the revival of Islam rather than his career. We do not have to write career in these type of questions, right? About which many candidates wrote at length. That means many candidates wrote detailed on his career, right? However, we are supposed to write here beliefs, works, and importance, right? Briefly, because it's a 7 marks question. Now we are done with 4 marks question, we are done with 7 mark questions. Now we'll be doing 14 marks questions, right? The first question: how important was Shah Waliullah in the spread of Islam in the subcontinent before 1850? This is very, very important. Underline the keywords. First one is how important, second one is spread of Islam. These are three important keywords: how important, spread of Islam, and before 1850. This is November 2004 question, part C. Examiner comments. In part C, many candidates produced answers that failed to reach a level 4 mark. Right? The question posed was about the importance of Shah Waliullah. How do we get to know that the question was about the importance? By through this keyword, how important. So we have to write the importance created by the work of Shah Waliullah, right? Created by the work of Shah Waliullah. Then most candidates only explained his contribution to the spread of Islam. Remember, we were all in this question, how important should have suggested to candidates that he was not the only person to contribute to the spread of Islam, and therefore consider the roles of Sayyid Ahmad Shahid Brelvi and Haji Shriatullah. As a result of adopting this approach, a level 4 mark could have been achieved. Remember, the question says before 1850, right? Before 1850, Shah Waliullah came, Sayyid Ahmad Shahid Brelvi came, and Haji Shriatullah. So we are required to write about all these three reformers. These two keywords, how important and before 1850. These two keywords are asking the student, right, to write about all three reformers, Sayyid Ahmad Shahid Brelvi, Haji Shriatullah and Shah Waliullah, and not only about Shah Waliullah, right? But the maximum part of our answer will be on Shah Waliullah. Why? Because the question is saying how important was Shah Waliullah. I hope it's clear. Another marking scheme explains importance of work of a number of people. Number of people means all three reformers, to include Shah Waliullah for maximum marks. Why maximum marks? Because in the question we are asked about how important was Shah Waliullah, right? That's why we are writing Shah Waliullah for maximum marks in the first paragraph. Now the marking scheme also says also produces a judgment or evaluation. What is judgment? The question says how important was Shah Waliullah in the spread of Islam. So you have to mention your judgment, whether he was important, how important, right? That is the judgment. Now the next thing, just a minute. Yes, so now we'll read the marking scheme. Shah Waliullah felt that the Muslims faced many problems because of their ignorance about Islam and the Holy Quran. He encouraged them to concentrate on the Quranic teachings and helped them by translating the Holy Quran into Persian, which was the main language of the Muslims at that time. His books were designed to spread the principles of Islam amongst the Muslims. However, he was not the only one. Up till here, Shah Waliullah was described. However, he was not the only one who was important in the spread of Islam. Then comes Sayyid Ahmad Shahid Brelvi, and then comes Haji Shriatullah. Right? Is fair. Right. The question is, how important was Shah Waliullah? Right? Remember, we have to write the work and the importance. Remember, importance is always created from work. For example, if Shah Waliullah translated the Holy Quran into Persian, this is the work. What importance did it create? It enabled more people read it. So we have to write the works and the contribution, right? Moreover, besides these three reformers, we can also write on the importance of contribution of Titumir and Mohsinuddin. Mohsinuddin is the son of Haji Shriatullah. These two can also be written, right? But very briefly. The next question is very important. Was the work of Shah Waliullah the most important factor in the revival of Islam in the subcontinent during the 17th and 18th centuries? Give reasons for your answer. This is 14 marks, November 2006, paper 1, part C. Examiner comments, part C focused on why Shah Waliullah and others. Who are others? The other reformers, Haji Shayatullah and Sayyid Ahmad Barelvi, had such an important influence on the revival of Islam in the subcontinent. Many answers were to the point and relevant, dealing with such issues as the translation of the Holy Quran, need of strong leadership, Quranic teachings. However, many failed. This is the reason why many were unable to answer, to recognize that this question required them to address the work of others as well. Remember, if you write only about Shah Waliullah, you will not get maximum marks. You have to write about other reformers as well, because the question says, was the most important factor? Was the work? This question deals with work, right? Was the work, the contribution of Shah Waliullah, the most important factor, right? Now, which part tells us that other reformers are also important? Which keyword? Remember, the keyword is the most important factor and 17th and 18th centuries. These two keywords tell us that we have to write on other reformers as well, and then compare whether Shah Waliullah, the work and the contribution of Shah Waliullah was the most important, right? It is important that candidates read questions carefully and answer the one that has been set. The marking scheme explains two or more factors. Shah Waliullah to be included for maximum marks, also produces a judgment or evaluation. The marking scheme is the same, right? So no need to read again. Right, another question. Did Shah Waliullah contribute? What does contribute mean? Work of Shah Waliullah more to the spread of Islam than anyone else. What is anyone else? Right, anyone else is the other reformers. Now read the question further. In the subcontinent before 1850. So these two keywords, the first one is before 1850 and the second one is anyone else. What does this tell us? This tells us that we have to write on other reformers as well, besides Shah Waliullah. Right? Now the examiner comments, part C was usually answered well. The question focused on the contribution of figures such as Shah Waliullah to the spread of Islam before 1850 to reach a level 4 mark, which is the highest level. Candidates had to ensure that they included the contribution of Shah Waliullah as well as other people, since this was included in the stem of the question. The keywords tell us to write to achieve maximum marks, right? So we were required to write about Haji Shayatullah and Sayyid Ahmad Barelvi. Again, I am repeating, we can also write briefly on Titu Mir and Mohsinuddin, right? It's up to you. Now, this is another very important thing. The answer required candidates to explain the contribution, the work of each person rather than describe their life, which is background, careers. These are all backgrounds, right? Most candidates were able to do this, but there was a significant minority who merely described their lives and at best were only able to achieve a top level 2 mark, which below half marks for this part question, below 7 marks out of 14. That's a very poor result for this question, right? So you have to write about the contribution, not about the lives, the careers, the background, when was he born and all that, right? That is irrelevant here. The marking scheme is the same, right? Explains importance of work of a number of people including Shah Waliullah, also produces a judgment or evaluation, right? So we are done with the 4 marks, 7 marks, 14 marks questions regarding Shah Waliullah only. In the last 18 years past papers, right? I hope everything is clear. These were only tips how to answer questions, right? And to read the it is very important to read the question very carefully, right, before answering the question. So today class we studied about Shah Waliullah. In the next class we will be studying about Sayyid Ahmad Shahid Barelvi, the questions regarding Sayyid Ahmad Shahid Barelvi in the past papers, the last 18 years. So we are done with today's class. I will meet you in the next class. Till then, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.